What's up, YouTube? Capital G here, another Duel commentary. Playing BlackWings once again. I know you guys don't want to just see BlackWings, but I happened to run into a deck that I had not played before ever, so that's the main reason why I uploaded this. I have a really good opening hand. It's kind of reactive. I have Torrential, 2 Maxis, Blizzard, Zephyros, and Allure. I kind of always assume I'm playing Dragon Rulers, and the 2 Maxis is really good, especially considering I have Torrential to kind of back me up in case they try and go over my head with a bunch of special summons. I can just blast them with Torrential Tribute. But he just passed his turn, so I'm like, well, maybe I'm playing Frog Monarchs or something. Anyways, I'm like, alright, well, I'm not going to make the first move considering I've got double Maxi. I'm just going to set Mirror Force, and I'm going to see what you're playing first. He's playing Agents, and he summons Venus, and obviously he's going to try and activate his effect, and I'm like, alright, that's fine. Now, I decide not to Maxi him here, and the main reason is because I don't have an over for the what's it called? I don't have an over for his Venus. So I feel like the second time he maxes him, like that's the better play because, you know, if I end up grabbing Shura, then I can like completely just blow up his field. And I end up putting him in a position to where, you know, he has to leave shine balls on the field and stuff like that. So anyways, I draw Bora off of my Maxi, and he just decides he's not going to give me a bunch more cards. He's just going to pass turn. And I drew my over. I drew Bora. So at least I can get rid of his Venus. Unfortunately, I don't have enough ways to get all his monsters off board. I mean, I could have summoned Zephyros and then potentially like you know, special Bora, but I felt like that would have been wasting maybe too many cards or whatever. So he ends up getting the Gachi out anyways, which kind of sucks, but you know, it's whatever. I still feel like that's not a card that I have that much problem. I don't really have that much of a problem getting over that card. Anyways, he summons Tour Guide, and I say okay, you know, to the effect, and I pitch Maxi. Now we kind of have a little bit of a debate here because I'm used to saying okay if I'm not negating a summon. Like if I don't play Solemn Warning on your summon or on your effect anyways, you know, I'm just used to saying okay. Like I'm not negating your effect, I'm responding to it, you know. Anyways, so he plays Herald of the Orange Light, negating my Maxi, and I'm like, okay, and he doesn't want me to shuffle, so obviously you guys know that I'm getting Solemn Warning next turn. Now, I actually made a mistake here. I should have torrentialed his field right then and there because then he wouldn't have been able to make the Zen mains. He would have lost a card for the, what do you call it, Gachi. So anyways, I'm kind of late to the party here, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to torrential him right now. You know, at least I can get rid of one of his materials off the Zen mains, and I can also get rid of one of the cards off the Gachi. Now, here's what I didn't know about this deck. Because when he summoned Tour Guide from the Underworld, he actually had another target. And it's one of those Archfiend cards. It's called Heres. And I'm unfamiliar with it. If the card goes to the graveyard by battle, or if it goes to the graveyard via monster effect, then it actually triggers, and you can see he ends up searching that big level 8 guy. Now, I vaguely know what the level 8 guy does. I know he's kind of like a mini Hyperion. I know he loses like half his attack or whatever, but I'm going to say the card is actually really legit. So anyways, I blow him up with Mirror Force because, I mean, I'm going to lose the Mirror Force anyway. So he ends up not detaching and using the effect because I guess he figured he was going to lose the Zen mains and main phase 2 or during the end phase anyway, so why even bother? He pitches his big Archfiend for trade-in, and now he passes turn back to me. So at this point, I'm going to summon my Blizzard, and I'm trying to go for an Armwing play here, but he ends up hitting me with Maxi, so I'm kind of like, well, I don't want to give him a bunch of cards now that he Maxi'd me. So I'm just going to pass turn. I think in hindsight, I should have used the Allure, and I should have got rid of my Zephyros. But Zephyros is like one of my favorite cards in the deck, and I'm always so hesitant to use it for Allure or to use it on cards for Black Feathers. Like, I really like that card. So he still has that Gachi kind of just chilling in defense mode, and, you know, he knows that it's going to take me a while to get at his life points. He resummons his Archfiend Heres, and I'm like, well, damn, I guess I'm going to be losing my Bora. And he goes to end of battle phase, and as you can see, I'm just gonna what's it called? I'm gonna click my Bora like it's going to the graveyard. But he ends up attacking into Blizzard, and I was like, what? I didn't really understand what he was trying to do here. I was like, what exactly is this guy trying to do? And then I was like, well, maybe he was gonna drop BLS. But then I was like, wait, he already has darks in his graveyard, like he already has Tour Guide and stuff, so I really didn't understand what he was trying to do there, so, and quite honestly, I still don't understand. Anyways, I'm just going to try and press on. I'm going to go ahead and make my Armwing. I'm going to try and get in some good damage here. I know I can't kill the Gachi, but at the very least, I can try and, you know, I know that I can punch in for, I believe, 800. Yeah, because it still has one of the little, the tokens on it anyways. And I know that I can set bottomless plus solemn warning, and I feel like I have a pretty adequate defense. And if he happens to kill my arm wing, I still have 3, or that'll make 3 darks, and I can drop Dark Arm Dragon on his head. So, obviously he has 6 cards in hand, and he has a whole bunch of cards that can blow shit up on my field. So, you know, I kind of have to pick and choose what I use my cards on. He summons Hyperion, which obviously I have to use my bottomless on, otherwise I might end up losing my bottomless for free. And then he's gonna summon something else. I'm like, well, he still hasn't normal summoned yet. If he uses that, if he summons that big Archfiend guy, I'm in trouble. But anyways, he ends up dropping Christia, which is like way scarier than Hyperion ever is, because I mean that card is just basically game unless I have you know, unless I like draw a Kalut or whatever. So I'm gonna Solemn Warning it, and then of course he has fucking BLS on top of that, and I'm like, oh jeez. This day just cannot. This situation is so bad. Anyways, I know that I'm gonna eat a whole bunch of damage here, and he summons Card Trooper, and he's gonna mill 3, and I'm pretty much like, all right, well I lost because if he puts Gachi in attack mode, that's 500. Card Trooper plus Card Trooper is gonna make that what 20? That's gonna make that 2400, and then the BLS direct attack that would make 5400. Without even counting the damage that he does over Armwing. But instead he attacks Card Trooper into Armwing, and I'm like, what? Now I kind of understand what he was doing. I guess he figured if he attacked with BLS and I happen to have a Kalut, he'd be in a bad position. But quite frankly, I would have risked it. I don't feel like you should prolong games in this format, because I feel like it can bite you in the ass. I mean, he did get a draw out of it, and he got a +1 anyway because he got rid of my arm wing. But you can see he's saying that he misplayed, and I'm thinking the same thing. I'm like, dude, I would have went for game there. So anyways, you know, he's still at card advantage and everything, and I'm still in a very bad position because while I can kill his field with my Icarus attack, which obviously he forces me to do, I'm going to blow up his 2 monsters with Icarus. I'm sitting on a Dark Arm Dragon with 3 darks, and that's great and everything, but my Allure of Darkness is like completely dead. So as you can see, he's +2 on me, and definitely he has advantage. Now I really despise summoning Dark Arm into open fields because I just feel like I just do a bunch of damage, and if I can't win, I don't see a point. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to play my Allure. I'm going to get rid of Kalut because obviously I don't have any Winged Beasts, or I don't have any Blackwings to use it with. And I'm just going to set my my Icarus attack, and I'm going to set Fiendish Chain, knowing that I can use Fiendish Chain twice because I have Zephyros. So he summons his big Archfiend guy, and I'm not going to lie, this card is really good. In fact, if that motherfucker was level 7, that card would be retarded, because then you'd be able to summon like an E-Dragon, and you'd be able to blow something up, summon an E-Dragon, and then go into like, what's it called, then go into Draco Sack, and that would just be fucking stupid. But the card is still good on its own. I guess you can summon Hyperion and essentially do the same thing. You can blow up 2 cards, but then again, all the rank 8s kind of suck. Like, the rank 8s aren't as good as the rank 7s. So at this point, I'm going to summon my Dark Arm Dragon. I use Fiendish Chain on this big Archfiend, and I'm kind of hoping like he'll have a Mirror Force or something like that. I summon Dark Arm, and he immediately looks into my graveyard. He's like, you don't have 3 darts, and I'm like, oh yes I do. So anyways, I'm going to remove Blizzard because that card's no good. But he ends up having Call of the Haunted. I'm like, fuck, he's going to get Card Trooper back, and he's going to end up drawing a card. So even when it looks like I'm going to go plus, I still don't go plus, and that kind of sucks. But anyways, the one silver lining in this is I know I'm going to get some good damage in because I can still just blow up his Archfiend. And now I'm looking at my graveyard, and I'm like, well, I obviously don't want to blow up his Archfiend before I bounce my Fiendish Chain. That would just be stupid. That would be like crazy counterproductive. So yeah, I'm gonna pay 400. I'm gonna bounce Fiendish Chain right to my hand, and I'm going to summon Zephyros the Elite. I'm asking if he has a response because clearly we're both playing Max C, and he's also playing Herald of the Orange Light. So you know, maybe he might have a response. He doesn't have a response, and of course I'm going to use my last dark in my graveyard, and I'm going to blow up his Archfiend, knowing that I've got not only 16 plus 28 damage, so I'm going to be able to do a bunch of damage. What is that, 4,400? But I also have, I also have my Fiendish Chain to kind of play defense for me. I have Icarus attack as well, and I have Black Whirlwind if I top another monster. So I feel like I'm in a really good position. The one problem is, if I would have summoned Dark Arm when he had an empty field, I actually would have already won, because he ends up having Dark Hole. Man, I swear, like, throughout this format, I have been so susceptible to Dark Hole. Like, that card has been blowing me the hell up. It seems like almost every game I get blown up by Dark Hole, and I don't even play Dark Hole in my decks. Like, but Dark Hole isn't really that important to BlackWings when you have Icarus Attack and you have like a whole bunch of different removal cards. So anyways, he is dead set on trying to get rid of that Icarus Attack. But I'm just like, all right, well, I'm just going to use Fiendish Chain, and I'm going to, you know, make sure that you can't blow up my Icarus Attack for free. Now, the problem with me using Fiendish Chain on his Archfiend guy is it goes back to 3,000 attack. So I can't run it over with like a Shura, you know, so that is kind of a problem. You know, I have Gale, which I got off the duality. Whirlwind isn't really... That's no good because I still don't have another monster. Anyways, I'm going to use Gale. I'm going to cut his guy in half, and I can't run it over. But the good thing is, with him having a monster on board, if he tries to summon another monster and attack over my Gale, then he obviously has 2 cards. I can Icarus attack him. So that definitely helps. And right now, I'm kind of just hoping that he doesn't draw like another good card, like he doesn't draw a Venus or something like that, because that would be really if I had to use it on something crappy. And so he puts his monster in defense mode, and I'm like, wow, okay, hopefully he doesn't have another monster. I'm in a really good position. Maybe I can draw Shura and I can like get this deck rolling again. I drew Book of Moon, which is definitely not Shura. So anyways, at this point I'm like, all right, well, I don't want to, you know, play with fire here too long. So I'm just going to cut his guy in half, and I'm going to attack over it with Gale. I lose my Fiendish Chain, and now I'm kind of resorted to using the Book of Moon as defense, because he could just do exactly what he's doing now. He could summon 1 monster, and obviously he wouldn't have to invest 2 cards to kill my Gale. So it kind of sucks that I play Book of Moon on Card Trooper because I don't want to lose my Gale for free. And I'm really running low on cards here. If I Icarus attack his Card Trooper, clearly he's going to just draw a card. So now I'm kind of just hoping that I top a monster and maybe I can like push in for game. You know what I mean? But he kind of forces out the Icarus attack. He plays Hyperion, and he's probably going to try and target my back row, which of course he does. I'm like, all right, well, at least pay your cost first. And I Icarus attack him. I get rid of the Hyperion, but he's going to draw from Card Trooper. So this dude is +3 on me, and I'm like, all right, well, I basically lost because I have nothing to fight back with. You know what I mean? But then I top deck this. I top deck Bora. Yu-Gi-Oh! So, yeah, I kind of had a little bit of sacking there, but, you know, it is Yu-Gi-Oh! It is what it is. All right, so I'm going to side in my my Light Imprisoning Mirrors, because that dude was blowing me up all day and night with Hyperion. Not to mention, I saw Archsword Christia in his deck. He played BLS, and I was like, yo... He kept summoning like these big-ass boss monsters, and they were all light and stuff, so I was like, all right, well, clearly bringing in the Light Imprisoning Mirrors might help me out. And this is before I learned how good Skill Drain is, like how much Skill Drain shits on like Agents and Prophecy and Dragoonity and stuff like that. So as you can see, I'm still playing Light Imprisoning Mirror. I don't play that anymore. I just decided Skill Drain in it because it's like just way better. Anyways, I'm going second, and I have a really good opening hand. I've got Duality, I've got Whirlwind, I've got Zephyros the Elite, my favorite card, which apparently I will never allure. I've got Shura and Icarus Attack. So he's already going to play his he's going to play Earth, and he's probably going to search for Venus. So, you know, if I am going to draw Lightning Imprisoning Mirror, I pretty much need it by now. Like, it needs to be my draw card, otherwise it's probably not going to do me much good. So I'm like, all right, well, let's see what exactly he's going to do. I'm going to play Whirlwind, obviously, and then I'm going to play Shura, just seeing what he has. You know, I'm thinking maybe he'll have MST or something like that. So I'm going to call Whirlwind's effect, and I'm going to get Shura. And if he was to call it, if he had MST, he would have already used it by now. So at first I was thinking, I was like, get Kalut. And I was like, no. I was like, get Bora. You know what I mean? And I was like, don't cut down, you know, don't cut the middle piece out of the ladder. You know, I'm not really scared of his Gachi play. I have Icarus Attack. Like, I feel like I have all the pieces that I need to defend myself. So anyways, I call effect, and he negates it with Herald of the Orange Light, and I'm like, great. I didn't even want the effect to be. I didn't even want the effect. Like, I sided out Bayu. Now I think I actually cheat here. um, because I play duality. And here's the thing: I think if you try and activate Shura at all, that you cannot play duality. I have to check that. But anyways, it is what it is. I'm gonna get Max C because obviously I think, you know what, all three of those cards would have been good actually. Not well, maybe not the Shura, but you know the cards for Black Feathers would have been good. The Max C is good because, you know, I have an open field, and you know, he's obviously, he has Venus in his hand, so obviously Max C is like a good counter to that card. We're gonna see what he tries to do. What's it called? Now here's where I'm like half retarded, and I don't know what has been happening to me, but I think I've like slowly forgotten what the fuck an inherent summon is. Like, he goes to banish a card, and I'm like, oh my god, that starts a chain. And it's like, no, capital G, you idiot. It doesn't start a chain. Just because somebody removes something doesn't mean it starts a chain. So I try and Max C him on Hyperion, and I'm like, oh my god, I am so bad. But anyways, he blows up the Whirlwind, which was the right play. And now at this point, I'm like, all right, well, screw this. Now I have to start trying to draw cards. Not to mention, he knows that I have Max C, so he's going to do everything in his power not to try and special summon, you know, or not to do any summons that cause trigger, you know, not to do any summons that causes that start chains. Excuse me, I don't know why that was so hard to get out. Anyways, I'm going to play Allure. I'm going to get rid of my Bora, and I'm in a really tight spot here. Because, you know, I need to get rid of that Hyperion. I also want to get rid of that little card that he has on the field. That what's that card? The Archfiend Harris. But I don't have a way of killing it without its effect triggering. So, you know, yeah, I run it over, and he ends up triggering the effect, and I'm like, well, this puts me in a bad position because, you know, he's still gonna get a search off of it. Now here's what I was thinking. I was thinking, all right. In the battle phase, I can Icarus attack him, I can get rid of Hyperion, and then I can set Torrential Tribute. He had different plans, you know. He sided in freaking, what's it called? What is that card? I forget what it is. It's a counter trap. That's all you need to know. So clearly, yeah, the huge revolution is over. So I was like, oh fuck. And I'm in main phase 2. I already know that he has a ton of damage that he can potentially do because he can just summon his guy. He can pop one of my cards. The problem is, even though I know I'm going to lose either my Mirror Force or my Torrential to Hyperion, if I don't do anything, I'm going to get OTK. Like, I'm going to lose because, you know, even if this guy cuts himself in half, 27 plus 15 is 43, and I'm exactly at 43. So I'm going to lose. So I pretty much have to set one of these cards. And you can see he's going to blow up my Torrential. I wish he would have blown up the Mirror Force. I felt like I would have been in a better position. Because now he just summons his other guy and he blows up the Mirror Force, and I'm like, alright, well, fuck this Ice Scoop because I can't come back against this. Maybe, no, there was no way for me to come back. Alright, so I'm in a tough spot because in game 1, I kind of got wrecked by Christia and shit, and in game 2, I got wrecked by, like, I got wrecked by the same thing. So anyways, I kind of slowly realized that he can't beat me if he can't use his effects that blow up stuff from my back row. I feel like he can't beat me, so I summon it, or so I side in Iron Wall. Now I've got a really good opening hand. I've got Bottomless, I have Light Imprisoning Mirror, I have Fiendish Chain, so I pretty much have an answer to everything that he's gonna try and do. As long as I can get around that big Archfiend guy, I feel like I'm in a good position. So he's going to pay his cost. He's going to try and trigger his effect. And I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to play Light Imprisoning Mirror. Obviously not wanting you to get your Gotchi on board. He pitches his Archfiend for trade-in. And I'm like, all right. No, I'm sorry. He pitches Blackluster Soldier. Wow. That is really good in his deck. Now that he has 3 Hyperions, Blackluster Soldier, a couple of Christias, and the little Archfiend. So yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense why he runs that. He sets 2 cards in his back row, and I'm thinking, okay, well, I'm just going to run this bitch over. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to run it over, and I think I probably would have tried to get like a Kalute because I think I sided out Vayu. So he goes to damage step, and he's going to Forbidden Lance me, and I'm like, I'm trying to think here, and I'm like, I don't think that that's worth using Kalute on because I can just summon Bora in main phase 2, and he can't attack over my, what's it called? He can't attack over my my Bora with Venus. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna save my my Shura. And there's nothing I really want out of the deck anyway. You know, Kalut is really the only thing that I can summon considering Gale is in my hand. So he doesn't have a response to my Bora being summoned, and I'm like, alright, well, let's see what this guy has. I'm just kind of actually, now that I'm looking at it, I'm like, please don't summon a level 3 and end up summoning Zenmaines. Like, that will ruin my entire day. But anyways, he goes for a Synchro summon, and he's going to summon Armades, which obviously I'm just going to hit him with Bottomless. And we're going to see what he's trying to do, what he's going to try and do here. I'm thinking maybe he might have a Hyperion, but he doesn't. He just passes turn, which means I'm like, all right, well, he only has one card. I'm like, fuck it. I'm going to try and get some use out of Whirlwind. Now here is once again where Capital G shows just how much of a pro I am. Watch this beastly play, right? So I'm going to summon Whirlwind, or I'm going to play Whirlwind. I'm going to summon Blizzard, excuse me. I'm going to summon Gale, and I'm going to try and search Blizzard out like a pro, right? And I'm like, oh fuck! I just realized that you're also 1300. Like, why is Blizzard 1300? Why did they not make him 1200? So clearly, I have no targets in my deck because I always side my Vayu out. So, anyways, yeah, I put Blizzard back in my deck because you know I am just a pro like that. The only saving grace I have here is that if he tries to attack over my Gale, which I guess is kind of like, it's kind of bait at this point, I can just collude him, but then I'll lose my last card for Whirlwind. So I'm kind of in a position where it's like, I'm not really sure if I would use collude on that. Probably not. I'd probably just let the Gale die. He has Call of the Haunted, and he's going to play both of his Venuses, and I'm like, damn, he's going to play Zenmaines. And obviously that's going to put me in a tough spot. Now I do have Venus Chain, which obviously I have to use, but the thing about that is, that's pretty much my last defensive card outside of Collude. So, you know, I pretty much have to use that because he would definitely ram it into something, and then he'd probably want to get rid of Light Imprisoning Mirror. Now the one good thing is, you know, he probably doesn't have Gores or anything like that, and even if he did have Gores, you know, he has Call of the Haunted locking him out. So now I'm kind of like, alright, I'm going to try and put in as much damage as possible. You know, I summon Collude, that's going to get me Blizzard, and then on top of getting Blizzard, I can cut his Zenmaines in half with Gale. I wish I would have had Shura instead of Blizzard. I mean, instead of Bora, because then I might have been able to just end this game right here and now. Anyways, so clearly the Zenmaines is going to go down. He's going to eat some damage right there. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to try and press in for another, what's that, 2700? And he doesn't really have that much, he doesn't have that many life points left, but he's still right above Cowboy, which kind of sucks. Now, here's the thing about BlackWings. I have a field, which it's kind of like, it's like, what can I really do with this? I mean, I can make a level 7, I can make a 9, and Mistworm has called a Haunted back for no apparent reason. And you know what? I don't even think I'm playing Mistworm at this point. Yeah, you guys will see later in another duel why I start playing Mistworm in the deck. It's actually for this specific reason. It's because if you ever have Collude on board, or you ever have Gale plus you ever have like Gale plus, actually, you know what the hell am I talking about? I don't even think I can make Mistworm with that. Yeah, that would be way too many stars. Anyways, so I make Armor Master, and I'm going to flip over, I'm going to flip over my Iron Imperial Wall. And the main reason I did that is because I didn't want him being able to summon Hyperion. So he's going to summon his little Archfiend guy, and I'm like, okay, I don't really know what that does. I'm not understanding what he's trying to do. He rams it into Collude, and I guess he's just trying to draw. I guess he's just trying to, like, dig for cards. He searches out his Archfiend, and I'm like, well, if he doesn't put a monster on board, he's going to lose because he has an open field. But then he trades it in for 2 more cards, and I'm like, I still feel good about my position. I still feel like he doesn't have an answer, except he does have an answer. Once again, I get blown the fuck up by Dark Hole. Like, it is, I swear, every single game, somebody goes +1 on me with Dark Hole. Like, it never seems to fail. You know, the only good thing is I have Blizzard, and unfortunately he doesn't have any other monsters, so he just scoops it up because he already used his normal summon, and I guess, you know, maybe he had a Hyperion or whatever in his hand, but he couldn't summon it. So, yeah, that was kind of a crazy duel. A lot of misplays, but it was still against a very interesting deck, and I like that deck. It had a lot of synergy. Like, there were a lot of easy ways to blow stuff up, and he had a lot of good ways to use trade-in. So, you know, that might be a legit deck in the future. Thank you guys for watching as always, and take care.